All right. Hey, hi. It's been a little bit since I'm on Focused Friday, so I'm kind of excited about this whole deal. I have to warn you all, like I was all docile when I went to bed last night, and I was like, oh, it's going to be nice. And then I woke up this morning in a completely different space, and I'm like, I'm going to bring the fucking fire for everybody today. There's F-bombs everywhere. I'm in a place where I'm not supposed to cuss, so I'm going to do my best. But here's what I can tell you. We have a bunch of agents that qualified for this panel. Okay. And what I mean by that, these were people. I looked at the year-over-year report. Can everybody hear me okay? We good? Okay. So I looked at the year-over-year report. And what I was doing is I was comparing, hey, I don't know if anybody knew, but like 2021 and the first part of 2022 was pretty epic, right? Like maybe the greatest in the history of mankind. And I wonder how everybody's doing, because I don't know if you also heard, but the market has taken a huge downturn. And depending on the markets that you're in, it could be anywhere from 12, 13% down to 60% down. And I'm looking and I'm like, holy shit. There are a bunch of agents and teams that just said to the market, and they grew their business. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. How is that possible? Didn't they know? How audacious, how rude could they be that they would defy what the market was doing for them? And I was looking through it. I'm like, holy smokes, we have a bunch of them. Every single day we're seeing agents get out of the business. Those are not these people. Those are the people who were letting the tide dictate how high their boat floated, but not the people on this panel. And there were a bunch of people within our organization that qualified for this. I could only have so many. So what I did is I purposely grabbed people who were in markets that were most bludgeoned, okay? I'm talking about the markets that were hit the hardest. Hey, Jim, can you turn on your video for me, please? I wanted the markets like Vail that was just getting hammered, right? I wanted the markets like Los Angeles and Big Sky and like where they're like, it was like this and then like this. I wanted Durango where God knows what was going on, right? Or Telluride where like one transaction meant everything up or down. And so I'm super thankful that I've got a great panel today. I'm going to do some introductions here, and then I'm going to give them all a very quick opportunity to share a little bit about who they are and what market. I'd also like to hear from you all how long you've been in the business. Listen, we're supposed to stick this to 30 minutes. You know me. That's never going to happen because I can't stop. But I promise you, take notes, listen to what we're doing, share this with somebody, because if I look at the data points, these people are the complete and total opposite of what the majority of the agents are having as outcomes. Okay. And we're going to find out why. All right. So let me go through here. I'm going to start with you, Jen. So I looked at Jen's trailing 12 months. Jen Colson is out of the Vail office. I looked at her trailing 12 months. Now listen, here's what's so funny about that. If you look at, I did April 1, right? So it was 12 months and the first quarter of 2022 was the greatest quarter of all time in history. First quarter of 2022 was actually better than 2021. And can you imagine? Jen increased her business in the last 12 months by, wait for it, 44.49% over the greatest year on record.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Well, now you know, right? Tasha and Nicole, I compared your Q1 of 2022 to Q1 of 2023, and you all are so rude that you grew your business by 79.55% for the same period of time. Now, remember, wow, you're comparing the greatest quarter on the planet Earth to arguably one of the most challenging quarters that we've seen in a long time in first Q of 2023, and you gave it the finger. Todd, bro,
No idea.
Q1 2022 versus Q1 2023, up 50.9%. And then Mr. Jennings out of Telluride, who, by the way, Jim had one of the greatest years I've ever seen. He grew his business over 10% into the first quarter of 2023 compared to 2022. So all of these people basically said, hey, listen, I know. And by the way, Telluride has been hit harder than any other market, just for clarity's sake. And yet he grew his business. Remember, the tide is down, and you all on this panel grew your business. So really quickly, let's do a quick intro, what market you're in and how long you've been in the business. Jen, let's start with you.
Hello, everyone out there in the CBDP family. My name is Jennifer Colson. I work in the Vail market. And in the last 2 years, starting in 2021, I also got licensed in Cabo San Lucas and down in the Baja. So I work in both markets now. And I've been in the business 22 years. And with Todd for 10.
Nicole, Tasha.
Hey, so I'm Tasha Bell, and I've only been in the industry for about 2 years, just a little over 2 years now.
And I'm Nicole. We're Blunt Bell. We're in Bozeman.
Yep.
And I've been in real estate for about 10 years, for with Coldwell Banker.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mr. Seeger.
Todd Seeger. I'm in the Durango market, and I've been in the business 22, 23 years, all of those with Coldwell Banker.
Beautiful. JJ.
I'm here in the Telluride regional market, and I've been in the business for 37. I also work a little bit in Hawaii, and I've been with Coldwell Banker for 3+ years.
Beautiful. Awesome. And JJ, how long were you with Nebraska before that?
I think I've been here for about 35 years with Eric. Yeah.
So
I mean,
the company that he is with is a company that we all acquired back in the day. So perfect. All right. So I'm going to jump in and ask you all some questions, if that's okay. And JJ, I think I might probably start with you.
Sure.
So when it came to 2023, I'm assuming you knew that the market had changed. Things were getting a little bit tougher. Did you plan for growth in 2023?
I did not. I just sort of kept doing what I've always been doing, but I started doing some stuff that I really shouldn't be doing, like jobs like cleaning up garbage and, cleaning the street and all this stuff that before I didn't do. But now I had to do something. So, I have much less listings. So I've just been working my database harder and working for the HOAs that I'm a part of and doing stuff that a couple of years ago I did not have time for.
Back to the basics. Mr. Seeger, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, kind of staying back to basics. Didn't necessarily plan for growth. Had a couple good commercial deals to start the year. In Durango, we don't really specialize necessarily in commercial or residential, but a lot of agents don't do commercial. So I don't want to say lucky, because they were hard deals that I've been working on for a long time, but those kickstarted the year. So yeah, kind of back to basics, just really a huge transition in how we did business to start this year versus the last, the previous 3 years.
And did you plan for growth? I mean,
No,
Jen,
but I also didn't think that we were going to take a big dive. I mean, I know a lot of people were, real doomsday to start the year and thinking that the market was going to crash. And I was here in 07 and 08, during the Great Recession, and saw that our market didn't really crash. I mean, it wasn't thriving, but it also didn't crash. So I kind of, had a sense of what to expect. And so I didn't necessarily plan for growth, but I didn't think that we were going to see this huge crash that a lot of people thought was going to come.
So that's an interesting piece, right? Because your mind will dictate what it is that you do. And if you think that things are going to change, you're probably going to see the change. And if you think it's not going to change, you're probably going to see the areas where you can impact the lack of change. So Jen, what about you? Did you, like, when you think back and we saw the market start to change kind of in May-ish of last year, did you expect to grow for the next 12 months? Is that your plan?
I think my plan is to always grow year after year, no matter what. And I feel like that has nothing to do with the market. I really don't watch the market. I know you make fun of me, and Todd, I'm lucky enough to have Todd as a coach. And one of the things we talked about is I'm really bad at tracking my numbers, tracking the market numbers. I really just focus on my clients. And I think what we've heard echoed here is we didn't change a lot of the things we were doing, and that we just kept doing exactly what we've always done. And I think some people, when they make a lot of money and have a great year, they go take a bunch of vacations, as opposed to, and I do take a lot of vacations, I will say that, but as opposed to just working. And that's what I did. I just kept working. I didn't necessarily plan to grow. I didn't have an expectation of growing, but I always plan on hopefully doing better than I did the year prior.
Brilliant. Nicole, Tasha, like, planning. Did you plan to grow? I mean, the market was changing. You guys knew that Bozeman was slowing down. You could see it cooling off. Like, what was the plan then?
I think really like what everybody else is saying, like we saw what the market was doing, but we still kept working our business, staying consistent with everything. Following up with our clients, just working our funnel, working our pipeline, because that's really what it comes down to. Regardless of what the market is doing, you still have to do a job. And you guys talk a lot about, like, when we've had our meetings, you guys have talked a lot about controlling the commentary. So just really making sure that you control that with your clients. So.
I mean, I hope you guys heard, like, here you've got 5 people who are defying the market, and they all just said exactly the same thing, right? There are no shiny pennies here. JJ's out cleaning the street. He's just doing what he does. He's just making sure that he delivers great service. Jen is working the phones and working the events, and like, that's all we do, right? Like, I don't know, it cracks me up to watch. And this is where I kind of got fired up this morning. I was thinking about all the people who were getting out of the business. We had 3 people yesterday leave our organization to go into a referral brokerage. I love them. It breaks my heart to see people do that. What that is, hey, listen, it's not working for me. Now, listen, I don't know what their circumstances are, so that's not probably fair. But if you look at the MLS and you see people leaving the industry, I know what this industry has done for my life. Y'all, I know what this industry has done for my life over the last 2 decades. It's completely changed my life. It's changed my wife's life. It's changed my kids' lives. It's a totally different legacy. My whole mission in life is to change lives, period. That's it. All of you. That's it. And so when I see people that are not making it, it breaks my heart. And so many people are looking for the shiny penny. So many people are trying to figure out a way to get success without doing the fucking work. And it drives me batty. This is not easy. There is no shiny penny. There is no silver bullet. You got to pick up that brick. You got to make your phone calls. You got to do all of the basics. And if that means I've got to go out and clean the trash out of the gutter on the fucking street to make my listing look great, that's what I do. If that means, I know Jen, it drives me crazy, but she goes in and she does all the staging and recarpet.
Moving trash this morning, my friend. Moving trash this morning.
Right? So you all have got, come on. All right. Let me talk about by the way, mindset. Mindset and marketing is what we're talking about today. And so everybody on this call just told you where their mind's at. Their mind is at, hey, I'm going to win regardless of what the market does, right? Todd said, hey, listen, I was there through the Great Recession. I know exactly what to expect when the market changes. The one thing that's constant is the market will change. I'm going to keep doing what I do. Customers are keep doing what they're going to do. My customer pool may change. I just got to find a different pool. It's like fishing. Anybody that's ever gone fishing knows you can't sit in the same fishing hole all day. You got to move around. You got to try different flies, right? You just go to a different place. No, don't talk to me about lures. That's not fishing. Okay, sorry. let's talk about marketing though for a second. Did your marketing change? Did your marketing budget change as the market began to change? And why don't we start in Bozeman?
I think that our budget changed a little bit and our focus changed just because we were really lacking in consistent social media presence. And so we've been working on getting better with that. And with that, we also then hired some help to level up, so to speak. And so that's just a work in progress for us. But other than that, it was just, again, the consistency, becoming more consistent of taking pictures when we're out in the community doing stuff, whether it's, supporting the schools or whatever it might be, just making sure that people know that we're doing these things that we say that we're doing.
We also so marketing for me in the past has always been business. And we really took the approach. We hired someone to take care of the business aspect because that's something someone else can do. Nobody else can film us
Out.
being humans. And that's what people want, is a human connection. And that's what
good.
we're striving to do. And we're making human connections and really bringing our life into real estate, and people are noticing.
So you leverage the stuff that could be done by somebody else, so that you had time to do things that only you could do. And then was I hearing you correct? Did you like, was your focus from a marketing perspective to elevate your game? Was that quality? Was that messaging? Was that cadence? What was that?
Probably cadence, just, I think that would be key. We just weren't at that caliber, not consistent.
Good.
Just keeping up on everything.
I love it. Jim, what about you on your marketing? I mean, did it change measurably? Did you change your budget?
Budget is around 20,000 a year. And I did make a really big change in it where I stopped doing a lot of newspaper advertising, and I took half the money and I put it into Boomtown, which is a lead generator. And then like a couple years ago, I really didn't do social media at all. And now I'm doing a lot of that as well. And I have a consultant that does it for me. So that was a really major change, which I made like this week. Going to Boomtown, that is.
Oh, so that's just a brand new thing.
Yesterday, yes.
Okay. So what got you the success though in the first quarter of this year? Was there anything different that you were doing?
Nope. I only had 3 closings. One of them was a house subdivision that I'm the secretary of the HOA, so I get a lot of business from that. But it was really the bell ringer deal that made my first quarter. And then the other was a vacant lot up at the top of the peninsula, which I've been working on that subdivision for about 20 years. And that's amazingly enough starting to deliver now after that long. During the Great Recession, the prices on the lots went down to like 100,000 or 200,000. And now they're back up to like 2.5 million. And today I'm actually going to hike up there from the Mountain Village Core to the Ridge, which is 10,500 with a surveyor and survey in the corners of a couple lots that I have under contract right now up there. So that's all brand new too. No one's ever hiked up there during the off was closed.
I love it. And listen, I hope you guys are taking notes, because listen to what you just heard. You've got Nicole and Tasha talking about how they leaned into social media, right? They leaned into sort of their quality and their cadence, how often they were communicating and leverage. You've got Jim talking about the long game. You got him talking about how he is engaged in service, serving on an HOA board. He's doing the long game work. These are people who are winning at incredibly high levels, right? Like I'm not giving you their income, but it's a shit ton of money that they're making. Jen, did you do anything different with your marketing? Did you change your budget at all as the market was changing?
Interesting question. So I don't track my marketing budget, and I have systems in place where the second.
Jen, you can't say that I coach you and you don't do the shit that I coach
But
you to do.
it's right. Followed with that is that I have systems in place. So my marketing budget has a lot to do with my listings. And so my systems are set. The second that listing contract is signed, bam, 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 it goes into a series of things that happen. One of which, probably the biggest chunk of my marketing budget is which I laughed when I heard him say he decreased the newspaper, is to the newspaper. Here, our newspaper is free. And, I do the big ad with my picture and the listing. And so the second I take a listing, that goes into queue. I don't actually track that until I do my taxes, which I just did. And my marketing budget was double almost what it was last year, the previous year. And the reason that is it's all newspaper because I had so many listings. I was listing heavy. You've been pitching that and preaching it for so long, listings. And, I, again, haven't spent a lot of time looking at the numbers, which isn't great, but I'm now almost 50-50 listing buyers. And when I started, and certainly in the first decade of my career, I would say I was heavily weighted on the buyers. So my marketing budget was probably less than. Now it's growing, but it's certainly offset with additional income because the listings are selling, right?
And I think one of the interesting things for Jen's business, the lead sources that she had early on were market leader, online driven, very buyer focused. And over a course of time, we've transitioned her marketing to, when you get a listing, turn it into 5 other listings, right? So as a result, she's become more and more and more of a listing agent. And I love that she said, no, she actually spent more money. See, to me, when I'm a contrarian, you all know that this company doesn't exist unless the Great Recession happened. Because when everybody else was curled up in a ball in a corner in the fetal position, I said, I think we should go out and grow, right? So what Jen did was she said, hey, you know what? Nobody else is advertising because everybody's taking their chips off the table, and I'm going to find an area where I can actually market that nobody else is marketing because it's quieter now. It's not as loud, and I can stand out in the crowd. Now, I don't love that she's not tracking it, but I do love that she said that she doubled her spend. So she's obviously tracking something, but her business was up 50% year over year. So evidently that worked out. So I am going to get Mr. Seeger to smile at some point. I just want you all to know I'm concerned. I know you're concerned, but we're going to do it. So I think golf season's about to come. I think you might be a little bit frustrated because it snowed again or something. But
it's just too cold and too windy, and I want to be out there playing. And yeah, you're right. It's frustrating.
I told you, you can come down and visit me anytime.
Hey, let's see. I think the next flight leaves Durango. I think there's like an 11:30 flight. Can we?
There you go. There you go.
I'd be there by 12:30. Can we get like a 1:30 tea time somewhere?
I'm in. All right, talk to us about marketing. Did you change your budget?
Well, kind of like what Jen was saying as far as listings and everything. I tend to be listing heavy. I have been for the last 10 years. And we've had no listings. I mean, it's always a slow time for us in the winter, but this winter we just had such a tremendous amount of snow that nobody wanted to list. So it's like, well, I'm not spending any money advertising any listings because I don't have any, but I still need to be out there. And then, being aware of again, everybody talking about, this down market that we're going to have. And so I do a lot of supporting of local, whether it's charities, high school athletics, Durango high school athletics, organizations like that. And so when everyone is hitting you up at the end of the year, get your donation in, get your sponsorship in before the end of the year for your taxes. And I remember to go back to my previous comment on, the Great Recession, I pulled back on some of that. And it because you're not having closings, you're not making money. So to go spend money is really hard. And my business, it suffered because of that. So even though, 2022 was a really good year for a lot of people, including myself, but going into 23, you're kind of wondering what the market's going to be like. And everyone's hitting you up that, hey, do you want to continue your sponsorship for this year? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And as painful as some of those checks were to write, it was worth it, I think. Like I said, I'm a big supporter of Durango High School athletics, and they give me a lot for my money, you know, a lot of recognition. My name's on the scoreboard at games and things like that. So just keeping my name out there and doing those things, you know, Durango's a smaller community, and I grew up here. I went to high school here. I went to Fort Lewis College. You know, I a lot of my business just comes from my sphere. So I'm right now more spending money on marketing myself as opposed to listings, and I think that's paying off because I've got several listings now coming up, and actually a couple of those listings that I've got coming up aren't from my sphere. I think it's more like, you know, a friend of a friend type of situation where I was referred by somebody. They said, oh yeah, Todd's great, you know, he does all this stuff around town, he sponsors, you know, he's a supporter of Boys and Girls Club, Durango Education Foundation, Durango High School Athletics, you know, all these organizations, United Way and everything. So that's been a little bit of a shift. I wouldn't say my budget has changed. It's kind of stayed the same. But I've kind of shifted to where I'm spending my money. I'm not spending it necessarily on marketing on my listings because we just haven't had any. But like I said, I think that's paying off because listings are starting to come now that our snow is finally starting to melt and weather is cooperating. Not quite cooperating enough to go play golf, but I'm gonna try to get out on Sunday. We'll see what happens.
Oh, good. I love it. Well, it's like, dude, it's commitment. Like you made a plan and you committed to it and you allocated that money and you knew that you had to get an ROI on it, and God bless you. I love it. Jim, what about you, buddy? I know you're doing some different things. I mean, you just kind of shared a little bit about a change you just made, but how about at the end of last year, leading into the first quarter, anything that you started doing differently from a marketing perspective that you think has produced some fruit?
You know, I started running ads in the Aspen Times for some of my listings here because I figured they'd look like great bargains to those guys over there. So and that's in the newspaper. So, and I like to mix it up a lot on my newspaper advertising. I've done just a ton of it. So, but I'm just sort of sticking with my normal program of working my sphere and my power hour every day where I try and hit like 10 to 20 of my original clients and try and generate some more leads. And I don't know where they're coming from everywhere. It's from my paper ads, it's from social media, it's from referrals, it's from Zillow. I get them from all over the place and I'm tracking it, but it just seems like there's no real one best way to get them. It's kind of like you get them from everywhere.
Thank you, Jesus. Right? What? There's no shiny penny. There's no like one thing. It takes it all. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I have never seen anybody more diligent, more consistent, doing the just the basic stuff and doing it at the highest level possible than JJ. And how long you been in the business?
I think 37 years because I had licenses in Arizona and Hawaii too. So I started years before I got to Telluride, and that was in 87. So since 85, I think.
I mean, listen, folks, in an industry where 90% of the people don't make it in the first 3 years, like to be in the business that long, you obviously have had to do a lot of things right for a very long time. Brilliant. Thanks, JJ.
It was awesome to come to Telluride when I did. You know, I mean, there was like 25 brokers here, and Ron Allred, who owned the ski area, had 500 lots to sell. So that worked out
awesome. Yeah, that works out nice. All right, so we're going to do a just around the horn really quickly. Top 2 lead sources that, like, if you had to get rid of every other lead source, these are the 2 you're never getting rid of. Jen, go.
Referrals and repeat business.
Nicole.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I would agree. Referrals and repeat business.
Tasha.
It's the same thing.
Todd.
Sphere, and sphere. Oh, you only wanted 2, huh? Sorry. Sphere and
JJ.
sphere.
Referrals and open houses.
Oh, we got an extra one. Did anybody hear any consistency there? I'm just saying, like, did anybody hear anything there? I didn't hear anybody talking about, oh, I'm going to go Google my business. Google my business is important. Again, Jim said there's a bunch of different places. Shout out to Ashley in Durango. she just got a lead, like literally yesterday, I think it was, from Google My Business. It's happening all the time. These are important. You've got to have your go-to 70 to 80% of your business, 68% is the exact number, should be coming from your sphere of influence. 68%. So that's the number one thing. Did you hear it? 68%. Then referral business is going to come as a result of that, unless you're building your broker to broker network, which is more your farming, right? So we got your 4: sphere of influence, farming, open houses, and online. You got to make sure you check the boxes, but you just heard the top 2. Brilliant. Jim, when it comes to open houses, are you doing anything special that you want to share, or are you just doing a standard open?
I'm just doing a standard open, but I kind of do it whenever I have a chance, and the classic story is one time I did an open house and I'd gone next door to move some furniture around in another property. And when I came back to the open house, there was a guy in there and he bought it. And it was a multi-million-dollar deal. So you don't even have to be there.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So just quickly, over the last 12 months, has this business for you, okay, has it been easier or harder in the last 12 months, Jen?
Same. And I'd also like to say one thing I've heard that you didn't mention is, because I did it too, but the ladies did it and Jim did it, is that we hired people out to do a lot of this just random social media stuff. That's just make sure you're Google My Business, use like the tools that we have. I think a lot of us have realized that the little stuff, we can farm it out and have somebody else do it. And I got a $3 million lead off of the Coldwell Banker site yesterday for Cabo, and I'm not even there. Okay. So, it works. Like, you just have to keep putting your stuff in and make sure it's updated. I think that's another thing too. Okay. What was the question? I missed it. I had to say something.
Thank you for that. That's awesome, right? Leverage. What are the 3 things? Leads, listings, leverage. Leads, listings, leverage. If you just focused on those 3 things in life, when it came to your business, you're gonna win, right? How do I generate more leads to get more listings? And then how do I leverage as much of the things that I need to do so that I don't have to personally do them, and I can focus on what? Leads and listings, so that I can leverage more. All right. So my question was, in the last 12 months, has your business has it been easier or harder for you?
Exact same. Just always consistently, I grind, period.
Bam. I love that. Anybody see this whole, like if you're grinding, you're doing it wrong, this whole social media thing? I'm like, fuck you. If you're not grinding, you're not doing the work. Like, this is not an easy job. I don't know anything that was really super easy. And there are times, certainly I love things in this job that I like, get me all fired up. And there's certain parts of the job that suck, right? I love my children, but I don't love everything that I have to do for my children. Make sense? But anyway, sorry. Nicole, Tasha, easier or harder?
To be honest, kind of the same thing. We weren't focused on
Oh, I lost you. Oh, what happened? We just lost them.
Lost us?
Oh,
There
there
we
we go. Better.
Okay. Okay.
it. We weren't focusing on if it was. weren't focused.
Yeah, you guys are breaking up on us. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It's like your speaker is not, maybe speak up.
Can you hear us now?
There we go.
We weren't focusing on if it was easier or harder. We were just doing what we were supposed to be doing, just like we weren't focusing on if the market was down. We were just doing what we were supposed to do every day. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jimmy. We have an amazing coaching program that is free. Jimmy has done wonders, I think more than we even realize, and he keeps us accountable. And I know he's watching, and I know he doesn't want recognition, but I cannot stress how much you need a coach. Whether you're experienced or you're brand new, you need a coach.
I love that. And Jimmy is amazing. And so are all the coaches that we have in the program. It's outrageous. I wasn't going to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I'm not here today. Y'all aren't here in this organization if it wasn't for coaching. Okay. You have got to get yourself to a place where you go, hey, you know what? I'm not the man or woman for the job yet. and I'm going to seek out assistance, and I'm going to find somebody who was the man or woman for the job that can teach me how to do what I need so that I can become the man or woman for the job. And then I'm going to do the fucking work, and I'm going to stop being a sissy, and I'm going to stop complaining, and I'm going to put my big boy and girl britches on every single day. And I'm just going to get up and I'm going to grind. And something really incredible happens. Success follows, right? There are no shiny bullets. None of that stuff exists. You plant the seed, you leave the seed. You don't dig the seed up. You plant the fucking seed and you water it and you nurture it. And something really crazy happens. It grows, it germinates. You keep taking care of it. You keep feeding it. It keeps growing. And then you have a harvest. Somebody already has done that before you. And if you can literally take a 10-year span, because that's the thing, right? You look around this room, you've heard 10 years, you've heard 35 years, you've heard, whatever. All these people started in real estate when they were 12. They've been in the business for a long ass time. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, like massive money. And we're all seeing the last 12 months. What if you went to somebody who had 10 years of experience and said, how do I get to where you're at in 2 years? That's what coaching does. What if you had somebody, you gave somebody authority to kick you in the ass when you needed a kick in the ass and to give you a hug when you needed a hug? What if you had somebody who you could laugh and cry with on a weekly or monthly basis that understood the fucking grind you were in? That's changing lives, you all. There is a reason that I get phone calls from Steve Murray of Real Trends going, what are you guys doing over at Distinctive Properties? I'm like, what? Because you have some of the highest productive agents on the planet. Why is that? I don't know. They work.
I think it's also because you care about your agents, Todd. Let's get real. And everybody on this call will agree with me. And I don't have to have a preemptive conversation to say it. We all feel like you care about us. And I agree with Tasha and Nicole. Like, if you're not taking advantage of the coaching program, what's your deal? Like, maybe you just have too much money and you just do this for funsies and you're not actually wanting to be successful. Maybe that's your deal. I don't know. But people ask me questions all the time, and I say, my coach, something about my coach, and they say, you have a coach? And I said, you don't have a coach? Why are, like, it's a miss. It's a fail if you're not taking advantage of that. People pay $20, $30, $40, $50,000 for coaches. It's included. So anyone on the call that isn't coaching, I'll concur with that. I think, and coaching is not always about pushing you to do more. It's about creating an opportunity for you to do what's best for you. And that was something I didn't understand when I first learned about it. It's helping you be the best you can or want to be, not to make you something you're not. Sorry.
Man, sister, right? Faith, family, fitness, finance. We walk the walk, babies. We walk the walk, right? It's just not about just money. It's not about you generating more business unless that's your thing, right? Okay. All right. I can't even remember the question. I know I didn't get to Jim. What was the question, Jim? Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay.
What'd you do differently?
Why don't you just drop us one nugget? We'll wrap this whole thing up. Give us one thing that you think everybody on this call, whether they're brand new to the business or been in the business for 30 years, needs to hear or be reminded to make sure that in a changing market, when there seems to be fur flying everywhere, what do they need to do to be successful?
Well, Bob Toll of Toll Brothers Builders, the CEO of Toll Brothers, he
Small
told
company.
me during the Great Recession, he was my coach, and he told me, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, I love it. Todd,
What was the question?
just what do you got? Like, this is your last nugget, your last opportunity, whether you've been in the business for a minute or 30 years. What do they need to hear right now to be successful?
I think it's just, kind of like Jen was talking to Natasha and Nicole, like, just grind. You got to grind. I mean, it's different. It's not easy. Your last question was, is business easier or harder? It's never easy. I've been in it for 20 plus years. I've seen really good markets like we had the last couple of years, which is really hard, where you're navigating multiple offers and advising sellers on which offer to take and really they're looking to you for expertise, and you don't want to screw that up. You don't want to say, let's go with this offer, and then it fails after a week. So, you know, that was hard. That was challenging. We're working, you know, day and night, you know, and it takes a toll on our mental health and on our families and everything. And now we're having to shift, and it's hard. It's just as hard, if not harder, but in a different way. You're having to fight for listings. You're having to fight for closings. You're having to fight to keep deals together. And so you just have to grind, and you can't grind, you know, 7 days a week. That'll kill you. And I learned that a few years ago. It was taking a toll, and I learned that. But you still have, you can't just lay back and let it all come to you. And everybody's got their different style. You know, some people are super aggressive. Some people, you know, are more. So like for me, you know, I'm pretty social. I'm an extrovert for the most part, but at the end of the day, I kind of want it to be the end of the day. I want to go home to my family. I want to go, you know, maybe play golf or just hang out and you know, with my close group of friends. And so like this year, I've really had to kind of push myself. You know, I like I said earlier, you know, I'm big at sponsoring organizations in the community and the high school athletics. So not just having my name there, but having my face there too. So I went to like almost every home basketball game, boys and girls, this winter. We're going to try to get to as many of the girls' soccer games that we can. You know, my son plays in the club soccer, so I'm trying to be visible there. I go to, you know, pick him up from practice instead of just sitting in my car and waiting for him to be done. I go out and I talk to some of the parents and, you know, kind of push yourself to do some of those things, because over the past couple of years, like, let's face it, we didn't have to work real hard to get business. Business kind of came to us, but we had to work hard to make sure that we were working smart and that we were giving our clients the proper advice. You know, so that sellers weren't leaving money on the table and buyers weren't overpaying. But now we're having to work harder in a different way and kind of push ourselves in a different way. And for me, that's being more visible and not just, you know, we have to work harder to bring the business to us, because it's not just gonna, you know, flow our way. So I'm trying to get to some of these events and you know, do as much as I can, and not just have my name out there, but have my face out there and talk to people. And it's, so far it's helping for sure.
For more than 20 years, right? I mean, you know, that's the crazy thing about this whole thing.
Yeah.
So Tasha, Nicole, Caroline Wagner asked, has your social media efforts translated into clients?
I guess we don't track, like all of us have said, we're not good at tracking because we're just doing. It's brought us more exposure. And we have learned to turn our personal lives bring it into our real estate. And kind of going off, we took a road trip, crazy road trip. Some of you followed, I know you did, Todd. And we decided to film it. And we were stunned at how many people started following us on social media. So now, thanks to Jimmy, we get to go on a road trip every quarter. And it's something personal. We're not talking about real estate, but people are paying attention to us and they're relating to us. And we feel like that is translating. We're going to be on the top of their mind. We have a connection with them, even though it's not face to face yet. We are getting more recognition, and it will turn into clients. We're just bad at tracking that because we're doing it.
Facebook or Instagram or both, or where'd you do the road trip thing? I didn't see it. I gotta go find it.
So we were filming like on TikTok and Facebook, and we were just doing like Facebook lives, and we were drawing our directions out of a bag and just going wherever that told us to go. So we posted everything back on TikTok, and that's where we were. I mean, when we were doing the lives, you would start seeing everybody start joining and making comments of like, what's going to happen? Where are you guys going? But then on TikTok, we started getting like thousands and thousands of views. And I was like, Jesus, this is so weird. I didn't think like people would be that interested in what we were doing. It was just something we talked about 4 years ago. And then finally we're like, screw it. We got to do it. Let's just go have fun. We need this. So
That's
turned
awesome.
into something we were not expecting. And talking to Jimmy, he was like, that's it. You're doing it every quarter. Like, fine, we'll take a road
And
trip
you're
every
writing
quarter.
it off.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
And we're writing it off.
I always say the same thing with men. I'm like, you go on vacation every 6 because all of a sudden you got all this business. I know, whatever. All right. Listen, Jen, did you have anything you wanted to throw?
Just making, for me, it's really, when you initially asked me about doing this, my answer was that I just take care of my clients and do whatever they need me to do. And that a lot of the time in resort markets, especially, that means sometimes I've been working with these people 3, 6, 10, 15 years, and they're finally ready to pull the trigger. You've been showing us houses for 9 years, Jen. This is the best one. We'll make an offer. I'm like, great. But that's the deal, is it's really taking care of the people and making sure that they're getting what they need. And for me also, I really am looking forward as to how I want my business to grow in different markets. And so pushing that envelope a little bit for me has been difficult, but it's paid off really well for me. So I'm happy about that as well. And thanks for all your support. I think we all are very lucky to be with such a great company that's so supportive. And shout out to Carolyn Wagner, who just joined us this week. So she's
Welcome, Carolyn.
and asking questions. Oh, great.
First of all, thank you to the panelists. I really appreciate taking the time. Y'all, this is the culture. Right? It starts at the top. If we are focused on helping other people win, we'll win plenty. I have to acknowledge all of you, that each of you have gotten to your success from a different path. And there is no one way to get it. And the one constant is it's fucking hard work. And each of you have said, hey, listen, it's hard work. I'm the man or woman for the job. And you did it. So thank you. And I hope that's what all of you are hearing. I will close with a couple of things, right? Before I get there, you don't make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame by going up and hitting a grand slam once. You get there by hitting a shit ton of singles. Okay, there is no easy one-trick pony when it comes to business. By the way, there's no easy one-trick pony when it comes to your fitness. You don't become wealthy by some get-rich-quick thing. That's all bullshit. That's all made for social media nonsense. You don't have a great relationship with your kids or your spouse because you went on a trip. It takes the small deposits each and every day. You have to work your ass off to have an exceptional life. If you don't want an exceptional life, that's fine. That's your decision. But don't do the work and then complain about the fact that you don't have the life that you want. Okay? Social media is in absolute nonsense. Like, use it for your business, but don't let it use you, I guess is my point. Okay? I know these people on here. They're out living the life that they built. And they know that they're living the lives they fucking deserve. These people made sacrifices. Some of them are immense. Like, some of the sacrifices that were made by some of the people on this call right now would have broken the backs of most humans. And guess what? They did it anyway. And what we get to see today is this incredible outcome from all of that work. All of that work, that overnight success, 20 years in the making, 30 years in the making. So don't look for the shiny penny. I'm going to give you a couple of tidbits here, right? These are some of the rules. 80-20 rule. If you need to try new shit, knock yourself out. But 80% of your time and money goes to the things that you know that work. Stop chasing this. Okay, that's it. By the way, it's probably like 90-10, but whatever, right? And don't do like Jen, track your shit. But by the way, Jen tracks her shit. She just doesn't think she does. Planning. Hey, folks, would you do me a favor? Have a plan, execute your plan. That way you know whether or not your plan is working, and you don't come up to April 15th and go, shit, I forgot to save for taxes, as an example, okay? Have a plan. Follow your plan. I love alternative revenue sources. Love them. It's mailbox money. Mailbox money to you in this organization is referral rewards program. Okay, it's 1% of the gross commission income earned. It's good for you. It's good for the company. It's good for your managers. It's good for the culture of your office. It's good for me. That's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. We need to be working on alternative revenue sources, okay? Just like I am with trying to do insurance, just like I am with trying to do mortgage and title and all of these things. Folks, we have to find other ways to generate revenue so that we're making bold decisions, not scared decisions, okay? Does that make sense? Scared money, don't make money, okay? Make good decisions by having money in the bank, having passive income, alternative revenue sources. ROI is king. The path is in the math. Track your shit. Know what your return on investment is, right? Cole, Tasha, track your needs. All right, Jimmy's gonna be all over you too. I feel so bad as soon as you said that.
We're in trouble. I feel the wrath.
It's gonna be the next call is gonna be brutal. But anyway, like track your stuff so that you know that what you're investing is actually producing a return. It'll immeasurably change your life. Invest in the F. What Todd was saying. Okay. Listen, I don't believe in total balance. I don't believe that you can always, like, oh, I put 4 hours here and 4 hours here. That's not how it works. There's a flow to it, right? But you can't eat at a table with one leg that's like 6 inches shorter than all the others. You have got to have your shit together. This is life. We're not here just to convince you that you can just like, oh, hey, you're going to make all this money. That's bullshit. We want you to have a great life. Invest in your fucking life. Invest in your life and give all of your good shit away. Serve your customers. Exactly what Jen said. Our mission statement is to create exceptional real estate experiences for our customers through the delivery of truly remarkable service. Y'all are doing that right here. I know you do it every single day. Thank you very much. Everybody, reach out to them and give them a virtual high five. Call them, text them, connect, obviously, on TikTok, evidently. And let's keep this going, okay?